My life is no different than that of an average person with an average standard of living. My name is David, and I'm 28 years old. A couple of years ago, my wife and I moved into a new apartment on the 10th floor. Everything was fine in our relationship. We were comfortable living together. However, I suspected that my wife was cheating on me. It was only an assumption, I had no proof, but I had long ago convinced myself that it was true. The thoughts came to me at the most unexpected moments and gnawed at my peace of mind. I am a rather modest man, and my wife sometimes calls me a wimp. Well, what can I do? She's determined to live with someone like me for the rest of her life. I've wanted to tell her my suspicions for a long time. But what good is it if I can't back them up with facts? The mere thought of discussing it, or even imagining her with someone else, makes me furious. The thought of being intimate with her makes me furious, because I can't get rid of the idea that someone else might have touched her before I did. So I keep putting off intimacy, even though she doesn't show much enthusiasm either. It's as if we made a tacit agreement to ignore this aspect of our lives, allowing the distance between us to grow each day. Then came the first suggestion of change. One Sunday evening, I was returning home after meeting a friend. As I approached the building, I happened to bump into a woman. It was a blonde, pretty girl about my age. She dropped her bag, scattering its contents everywhere. It was like a magician's endless hat. So many items spilled out of that little purse. There was makeup, a small notebook, keys, tissues, and even a tiny toy, a miniature giraffe. "I'm sorry, I'm so clumsy. I wasn't paying attention." "Let me help you," I said, embarrassed. She smiled and replied, "I don't mind. I'm just as clumsy. I've been inattentive too." "Do you live here?" "Yes, I do." "On the 10th floor," I replied. "I just moved here a couple days ago." "Nice to meet you, neighbor. Maybe we can talk sometime. You can tell me about the neighborhood," she said, looking me straight in the eye. Her voice was warm and had a sincere friendliness in it, which was rare in my interactions lately. We decided to continue our conversation at a nearby cafe amid dinner. I called my wife and invited her to join us, but she said she was too busy. The cafe was lovely, with delicious food and drinks. The evening went splendidly. I hadn't met such a nice person in a long time. Our thoughts and judgments coincided in many ways. I felt she was tailor-made for me. I believed she held the same opinion of me. Her laughter was infectious, and her curiosity about my life was genuine, which was refreshing compared to the usual apathy I was used to at home. We talked for about 4 hours and didn't even notice the cafe was empty. Eventually, we decided to head home. As we walked through the quiet streets, she talked about her old neighborhood, her career and aspirations. It was as if I was rediscovering the joy of meaningful conversation, a forgotten art in my life. "What a beautiful evening," she said, looking up at the moon. "And we've been lucky with the weather. Look at that moon in the sky." "Yes," I agreed. "Time to get some sleep. It's been a pleasure meeting you." Confidently adding, "My wife says I'm a no-nonsense guy." We walked together to the elevator. When its doors opened, we stepped inside. The elevator went up floor by floor, but then suddenly stopped. The lights dimmed. The mechanical hum of the elevator stopped, leaving us in a dense, unsettling silence. We didn't panic, but kept pushing the buttons. When they didn't work, we called for help. After 5 minutes, the elevator operator assured us that the elevator was fine and would resume operation in about 15 minutes. The wait seemed like an eternity to us. We tried to make small talk to fill the silence, but the confined space seemed to intensify every awkward pause. On the one hand, we felt relieved that we had gotten some good news. On the other hand, the confined space began to weigh on me. I instinctively hugged my roommate to quiet my claustrophobia. Perhaps she didn't understand my gesture. She looked me in the eye and kissed me, figuring I had made the first move. My thoughts raced, but I felt a strange lightness in my heart. It had been so long since anyone had shown interest in me. Her touch was warm, and her breath carried a heady mixture of excitement and hesitation. I moved closer to her, and we gave ourselves to the moment right there in the elevator. The sensation was amazing, a stark contrast to the dull monotony I was living in. For a brief moment, the world outside the elevator ceased to exist. There was only us, caught in a whirlwind of passion and rebellion against the limitations of our lives. As the elevator jostled back to life and rose to our floor, reality began to seep in. We fixed our faces and smiled nervously at each other, having tacitly agreed that what had just happened would remain our secret. For the first time in years, I felt alive, yet conflicted at the same time. After this night, life would undoubtedly change. If you enjoyed this story, put a like and subscribe for more intriguing stories.